Welcome to the Polish and Flourish series by the Polish Cultural Institute, New York. Today my guest is a PhD, Anna Wolska, who is a medical biologist and staff scientist at the Lipoprotein Metabolism Laboratory, which is part of the National Heart, Lung and Blood Institute. Welcome.
Thank you very much for inviting me here, Maya. And I would like to also welcome all the guests watching this with us.
Yes, thank you. So my first question would be, why did you become a scientist?
I think I was very fortunate that I come from a very small town, Nowy Targ, in a lesser district in Poland. And I had always very great teachers of biology. And I love biology. So somehow I think that just grew in me. And I just decided, yeah, I want to pursue this path. I want to learn more, gain knowledge of, the secrets of life, I guess. And that's how I decided I want to do my master's in biology in Gdańsk at that time. Mm-hmm. And later on, I started my PhD program at the fantastic Medical University of Gdańsk in Gdańsk.
Oh, it's so nice to hear because Gdańsk is my hometown, I was born there.
Yeah, I totally am in love with Gdańsk because this is where I spent the last few years before I came to US, and it's been a really beautiful city. I always come back there every year if I have a chance, and I cannot believe how it changes within every single year. It's so different. It's growing. It's becoming even more beautiful. I am very fortunate that I can call Gdańsk as well my home city.
It's so nice to hear. So my second question would be, what was the story behind your stay in the USA? So how did you become a scientist in the US in such a prominent institute?
So this total accident. It was not planned at all. I did my PhD, as I mentioned, at the really prestigious Medical University of Gdańsk in Poland. I had great mentors there, Dr. Małgorzata Wróblewska, Professor Szutowicz at the Department of Laboratory Medicine, where I was studying lipids, lipoproteins. But, life happens. My mentor, Professor Małgorzata Wróblewska, passed away. And I knew at the time that the section that I'm doing my PhD is going to be shutting down. So I just needed to look for other places to continue my research after my PhD defense. And I think I have to give it to my father here, who was very much encouraging me to not just look within Poland, but as well, abroad, overseas. And so I kind of have more opportunities to get in somewhere, because for me, it was very important to start my postdoctoral training right away. And in Europe or in Poland, usually at universities, PIs, principal investigators, they need to have grants in order to give you a position. So you most likely will have to wait for starting the postdoctoral position. And like I said, I was really determined to start right away. I didn't want to have any gap in my resume. So I just randomly picked a name of a scientist that I was actually citing in my PhD thesis. And this was Dr. Alan Remali from the National Institute of Health, to whom I wrote an email, and he responded literally within 2 seconds that he's interested. And I, at to be honest, I have to say, I didn't even know that I'm emailing someone who's sitting overseas, and that's the United States of America, and that's even National Institutes of Health. But obviously, once I got very positive response, I quickly Googled Dr. Alan Remali, and I found out, oh my gosh, this is really something unexpected. And then we set up a call, and he said, yes, please come. Yeah, and that's how it started. I arrived. I think I got along with the team very well, as well as my PI, Dr. Remali, to which I would basically refer always here, Alan. So please keep in mind that that's going to be Dr. Alan Remali. And yeah, that's how it started. And I was supposed to come for a year. That was my kind of plan at that time, because I wanted very much to be back in Poland. I really wanted to be in Poland. But, you know, once you get here and you are fortunate to be in a very good laboratory, having very supportive mentor like Alan, a team in the lab who's just, everybody is so dedicated to the kind of teamwork and the goal of just, you know, getting into the roots of our hypothesis and our ideas for science and studies. You really kind of are sucked in. So time flew by, and now it's 7 years I'm here.
What a long time. Oh, I love this story. It's so interesting. I also wanted to ask you: is there anything that surprised you once you came here in the US?
Oh, definitely. I think the first thing that surprised me, and was literally once I landed, and I was in a taxi coming to Bethesda, where the National Institutes of Health is located. It's literally at the border with Washington, D.C. How green it is. I don't know, somehow I've never been before in US, so I think that's good thing to point out. So that was my very first experience of the United States of America. And I think in my imagination, I was expecting something of an image of New York City, yes. And it's very different here. We don't have high sky buildings. It's very green, very spacious. It's very clean. So I think that, and the other thing that surprised me as well, which still does, it's people. How people were so friendly towards me, helpful. I found it just amazing, because at the beginning, obviously, when I was still learning the city, I sometimes couldn't even, you know, find a way to get somewhere, but I didn't even have to ask, because people would notice that I probably look a little lost, and they would approach me and offer their help to get me into my destination. So I found it very, very, very nice and kind.
I have a similar experience here in New York, I must say. And I also wanted to ask you about what would you import from the US to Poland in terms of like work ethics, or, you know, any kind of thing that you experience at your work and you see that it's much more different than in Poland. And so what we could learn from the US, you know, institutions, basically.
So I think that's a very good question. I have to say that my work experience in Poland is very limited, if not none, because I literally flew to US after my PhD defense. But looking even just at the training, I have to say that I would say what's important for me when I was here, very new to everything, to the big institute, who has literally over 30,000 of people. Everybody is from abroad. It's very multicultural. Obviously, the resources we have are just, it's just amazing how we can grow, how we can try new things. And what really is good about the National Institutes of Health is that everybody wants to collaborate with you. Everybody wants to help you. So even though I was a very new person for the institute, for the lab, and at the time, I have to say that, I started a very major project that I never had experience with before, and it's a drug development for cardiovascular diseases. I was put in a collaboration with pharmaceutical company, so I've never had that experience from Poland either. And that's a very different work when you work with a pharmaceutical company. So I'm about to start a completely new field, actually, because it is cardiovascular diseases, lipids, lipoproteins, but it's drug development, studies on animals that I've never done before. And yet, without having this experience, my PI, Dr. Alan Rimale, did not hesitate to give it to me and allow me to lead that project, which happened to be the most important project at a time for the laboratory. And so I think that just shows, I think that kind of belief in young scientists that I'm not sure, can everyone experience. I found it very, very amazing, and I'm very, very grateful for it, because I really learned a lot during my postdoctoral training, running this really enormous project. I had to suddenly, as a really young scientist, kind of talk with very senior and established scientists in United States of America. And what really was amazing as well, that they all were very respectful towards me. They all took me very seriously. But yeah, if I'm asking for help, sure, we're going to help you. What do you need? Where do you want to meet? What do you want us to do for you? What's the deadline for it? Do you need to discuss it? Do you need, this is amazing, because I think the science, as much as it's really a hard, because it's very unpredictable. You have to be very patient and resistant. It's a very collaborative work. It's a teamwork. And without really great members of the team on that project, I don't think we would be that successful. So I think this is just something that I would love that's in Poland. I hope it's like that. And I think this is just something that should be always emphasized and just improved if it can be, because yeah, we should believe in young scientists.
Yeah, I think the trust that you mentioned and the collaboration are the key elements to, to be successful, not as an individual but as a team, basically. One more question is there anything Polish that you miss right now being here in the US?
Very much I miss my family, because I'm the very first person in my family to move to United States of America. So I basically don't have any of my relatives with me here. But thankfully now we have technology, and hopefully pandemic is over, so we can fly more often to Poland. So I try to visit them as much as possible. But yeah, I definitely do miss a lot my family and friends. I have very supportive loved ones, and I do miss a lot the beach in Gdańsk. I'm from Brzeźno, which is a very small,
I know
it's a small neighborhood, but literally at the beach. And we have such a beautiful beaches in Poland. It's very sandy, yellow. So I miss that a lot.
Yeah, I know. I missed this place as well. Yeah. My next question would be about your work. So what are you working on currently?
I have to say that I have many projects. It's never just one or two. So mostly my experience now and what I'm involved in is working on new therapies for cardiovascular diseases and high triglycerides in the plasma. So I'm mostly involved in that. On top of that, I'm working on looking for new formulas, new equations for estimating plasma lipids in order to screen the patients more accurately. As well, we've just actually developed a new risk score for cardiovascular diseases that could be implemented in any lab, free, because we intentionally wanted to be available. So that was not patented, and that could be just, run from just the basic plasma lipids on every patient. We hope to start a clinical trial on our drug, and that I was working as a postdoc, that we patented in US. It's been licensed to now big pharma. So we are hoping actually to start a clinical trial, because it would be fantastic if the work of the team, because it's never only just my work, it's the work of the team, my PI and great colleagues in the lab, if we could just bring it to patients and do something good.
And what do you hope what do you hope will happen to your discipline in the future? I mean, what would be the future of your discipline?
I hope that it's going to become more personalized. I think, there's still so much to do, so much to improve upon when it comes to screening patients for risk for cardiovascular diseases. So I think if we can look at that risk in a more personalized manner, that would be great. So for that, we need to look for new tools, and we are doing that. All of us in the field are working on it very hard. The other thing, obviously, hopefully new medicines that could have less side effects and be just more effective. and available as well to patients. I hope that I'm pretty confident that the field's going to be growing, and I think this community of us lipidologists, how we call ourselves, I think we really are very dedicated to our mission. And I think that this is something that we're gonna try to nurture and grow and bring in new generations, and as well, I think it's very important to not forget our predecessors, because even in my field, nothing happened overnight. It takes sometimes generations from the first discovery of something to the, let's say, even drug development. So I think I would like us to have it in mind that this is really this is like a lifetime journey of multiple generations working towards one goal: how to make the heart diseases just manageable, how to prevent it, and how to make individuals live long, healthy lives. Because that's what is it about in our field, in cardiovascular diseases, which is the first major risk of deaths, sadly. So.
Yes, you're right. I would like to finish off with a bit of a lighter question. So my last question would be, what is your favorite place in the US? Because you told me about Gdańsk and Brzeźno, so I assume this is one of your favorite places in Poland. And what about the US?
In US, I have to say my favorite place, it is Washington, D.C. It's I've been living in D.C. for many years. It is, we have so many historical buildings here, like the Capitol, Washington Monument, Lincoln Monument, and it's just so green and beautiful and spacious. Not to mention all the museums, Smithsonian museums are free, which is just amazing. And I really like that atmosphere here, as well at the NIH. Like I said, this is really, really enormous teamwork, and I think I should bring it to attention. I think as well that it's not just the scientists who make it happen, that the science happens at the NIH. It's really a great work of administrative staff, immigration specialists who help us tremendously with all the visa paperwork, who make it happen that I can come here comfortably, legally, and do my work. I think this is just amazing, and this is provided by the NIH. The other thing that's amazing, it's all even communications office who really help us how to communicate our work to the broader audience, who try to as well advertise us, what we do here at the NIH. So it actually goes to the public. So the public knows what we're working at. I think they're doing an amazing job how to actually transfer our very scientific language to the plain one, more understandable, which might be very difficult for us scientists. So I think this is something that, again, I kind of very much I'm appreciative of, and I like it here. So this is really, we do say at the NIH, yeah, it's like a family. We are here to help. We have one goal, And we really, really, really work hard on doing our job, every single person and every single day. But at the end of the day, we hope that the public's going to benefit from all of it.
So I think to sum up our conversation, we would say that the key words is the teamwork and collaboration and the mission that is behind, and these are the three elements that enable people to flourish, basically. Thank you very much for this interesting interview and for your input in the work, the scientific work. I know it's a very hard discipline. I have my friends who are scientists, and you have to be really, really patient and resilient to become one. So once again, thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Maya. And, it was a pleasure. And I hope that, science gonna flourish.
Yes, let's finish off with this lovely, sentence. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.